And it's tough when someone decides to, get a long-term MC or something. And then on the first night that they got the MC, they tell you, I'm not going to work for you anymore already.
Which has happened to us.
I completely say this with a smile on my face now, but when it happened, I was like, what?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How was your weekend, man?
Good.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day and all. Quite busy with different things, yeah. But generally good, yeah. How about you, man?
Same, took my mom out for the lunch.
Yeah.
And then weekends just flew by, like always.
Just flies by. Right?
Just flies by.
Yeah. And then now this is the big week, 1545.
Big week, man.
But one thing over the weekend, I felt like everyone was inundated with Lee Hsien Loong interviews, right? Was it it was like a blitz?
It felt like he did 4,000 interviews, but it's just one, right?
Yeah. And I think the Prime Minister's office, the YouTube channel, they uploaded everything in every language at one shot. So for, usually your YouTube subscriptions page, it's everyone's different videos.
Oh,
it's all Lee Hsien Loong, rows and rows of Lee Hsien Loong videos. Yeah.
Oh, shit, man.
Insane.
Because he did one long interview with CNA, right? Like a 2-hour interview or something.
Yeah, and then I suspect, then after that, even all the alternative news sites like Mothership were told or given permission to post it in its entirety. So everyone just went to town with it.
Walao.
Yeah.
Oh, PMO's office.
2
hours, 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Are you planning to watch the whole thing?
Nah, I mean the snippets are interesting, but just when you force it down people's throats like this, it's just a bit everyone recoils for a little bit.
But not forcing, right? It's on YouTube. You're not happy, you click, don't click, Terrence.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of everyone's pulling out the snippets, so I'm watching a bit of the snippets here and there.
Any snippet that stands out?
I mean, him talking about wokeness is pretty funny. Yeah.
And that is a problem, man.
Yeah. It's pretty funny, right?
I guess now he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna say what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he and his wife Ho Ching also, they really say what they want, let it go already.
Ho Ching for a while already.
Yeah. Maybe she's been retired for a while. Right?
Yeah. But yeah, big week, man.
Yeah.
Big week. We got a interesting episode coming out on Wednesday also.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, actually, it's kind of...
Oh, yeah.
It's not secret because
we've recorded, yeah?
No, they posted about it also.
Oh, they posted about it?
They posted a story. So you want to say what it is?
We have a guest who is in the political sphere, who is someone we have spoken about a lot, and he's none other than who, Terrence?
Mr. Leong Man Wai, NCMP himself.
Yeah, we recorded at the end of last week. And so fitting, it'll come out the day there's a handover.
Yeah,
on Wednesday.
That's right. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah. So remember, it'll come out on Wednesday, and it'll be there for you to listen as we see the new PM take charge.
Ascend to the throne.
Yeah. I mean, got a few interesting topics to talk about today.
Yeah.
Should be quite fun. But before we get into that, Terrence, what's our regular spiel?
If you're new to this podcast, please make sure to follow, subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the things that you do on social media, because that, we actually do engage with people on these platforms, right? And I think it also helps, trains the algorithm to understand that, hey, people actually like listening to us.
Yeah, and that you like listening to us.
Yeah.
So remember, you see that button wherever you are now, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, just hit the subscribe or follow. And if you want to work with us, you can check us out at ministryoffunny.com.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, cool.
So Monday morning, fantastic topic to jump into. It's a topic of people taking extra time off more than they should, right?
Yeah. It is the news that was published incidentally at or at least the CNA article was published at 6:46 p.m. on Sunday, 12 May.
Oh man.
Which ahead of the week. So apparently, Ministry of Health aims to curb excessive issuance of MCs by telemedicine platforms following feedback. So basically, there's a bunch of requirements they're proposing to curb the apparent abuse of MCs through telemedicine platforms.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten an MC through a telemedicine platform?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we need to take MC right? But they quite readily offered it the few times I did teleconsults.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think I have, but I know people around me have.
But you've used teleconsults,
I don't think so.
Oh, you haven't used?
I haven't used it, but my wife has, and I have some other family who have.
Yeah.
So that was something that came about. I mean, during COVID, there was a spike, right? Because you couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But apparently, there was feedback from various employers and government agencies to MOH about, and I say in air quotes, the excessive issuance of MCs following outpatient medical service consultations, particularly teleconsultations. So basically, there was feedback from businesses and government agencies. And then, there was a circular that was issued by MOH together with Singapore Medical Council, the SMC, and it was sent to all doctors. And they said, we've been getting this feedback. We want to consult you and suggest some suggestions of requirements. So when you saw this, given you've been, I think most people are aware. What did you feel? Do you feel like, oh, time's up, time's up?
I think the timing of this, like what you mentioned, is actually pretty important. Like this article came out on a Sunday or during the day, right? And also it was from a joint circular on April 22nd. That's almost 3 weeks ago that was sent out. So this was not like MOH is telling the press. This is a journalist probably getting word of the circular from somebody, right?
I see.
So it's a
good point.
In some ways, a bit of an expose. That means it's probably not meant to go public like this, right?
Yeah.
But now it's public, and I think it says certain things about what the priorities are for MOH and all that, right?
Yeah. And I mean, even as over the past year, CNE themselves has done a few articles in July 2023. Can you get an MC in under 1 minute? CNE test telemedicine apps to find out.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, they got MCs from 3 telemedicine apps all within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess it has been a conversation for a while. There have been some commentaries as far back as 2018 about why do employers still insist on an MC for staff who call in sick. So yeah, this thing has been bubbling up. But this one, so any first thoughts when you saw the article? Because it was the first time you heard about this also, right?
Yeah. I mean, in light of COVID and everything where, it was difficult to encourage. I mean, at first it was quite hard to get people to not go to the office when they're sick and everything, right? And they had to impose rules to make sure that people understood that the gravity of going to office or exposing others to illness. This one seems like, a big 180-degree turnaround really, where we're back to the days pre-COVID where, asking for an MC even if you feel sick might not be a guarantee, right? Where you need to cook up some kind of excuse and all. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's quite just off the back of COVID, we haven't built in the muscle memory of okay, if I'm not feeling well, I should put on a mask if I'm outside, or I shouldn't, be trying spreading the disease to anybody. I think we've forgotten those little habits that we were trying to pick up during COVID already.
So you're saying it's going back to the dark ages?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit dystopian, I find.
Yeah. I mean, when I saw it, my first thought was this felt inevitable, only because just looking at when I've seen people use telemedicine or even heard people talk about using telemedicine to get MCs.
Yeah.
More like a day off. It really felt this is almost too good to be true. And the consult, literally, I mean, even the CNA, they documented in under 2 minutes. You can get an MC. Last year they did a report. Apparently, one industrious or entrepreneurial clinic said you can get an MC without even any teleconsultation. You answer a questionnaire, and for $5 you can get an MC.
But they got caught, right?
They got caught. But it just, it feels this felt inevitable, but also like what you said, it feels like everything now. Let's say mental health, right? There's so much focus on mental health, and with COVID, sometimes when you're feeling a bit off, I don't know, maybe you just want to take precaution. You might not have any like serious visible symptoms lah, but this one is kind of like curbing down on that lah.
Yeah.
So it feels like a few people exploited it, and I would say that it's not just patients. I also think doctors need to be like some doctors could have had a hand in it reaching it this level lah.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, oh shit, like a system that was actually pretty cool is getting impacted by that lah.
But wouldn't you say that part of it is because of teleconsulting in some ways? Where teleconsulting, it kind of, it's so easy to get like a minute with a doctor.
Yeah.
And it's hard like, over a telephone call to assert whether, to ascertain whether someone is really sick or injured or what, right? Because the few times that I've used teleconsulting, like I think I had visible symptoms of something like, right, like my face was puffy and things like that. So I think they from there they can assess like, yeah, oh, this is real. But I was just thinking like, if I have a back pain or something like that, it's not something that I can tell the person over the phone, right, and they'll be able to assess that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, isn't that just then shouldn't they restrict this inquiry more into the process of teleconsulting? Because
so apparently like the whole teleconsultation services has been regulated under the Healthcare Services Act since June 26, 2023. And in that act, right, a licensee must not provide an outpatient medical service by remote provision to a first-time patient.
Oh, okay.
So in some way, what they're saying is, you must have a relationship. This could be your family doctor or something.
Yeah.
So it's almost, like for work, sometimes you need to have a face-to-face meeting. But if you're not feeling well, you do a video call.
Yeah.
And I think that one is fairly accepted. Because, you're even for the first time meeting, maybe work is not the best comparison. But this one feels like there were already safeguards. But it was not being adhered to.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, then I can understand, this doctor, your family doctor, there's that trust. But I've been in the presence of people doing first time consults.
Yeah.
And it's almost a joke how easy it was to get an MC.
Yeah. But were they malingering or were
malingering,
they really like sick or what?
Malingering.
Oh, you know that they were malingering. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the doctor also was like, it's almost, oh, is it? Oh, okay. How many days? Then I'm like, oh shit. That is like for students, working professionals and all, it felt like, okay, is the doctor really doing their job?
Yeah.
No lah.
But do you want it to go to the other extreme? And the other extreme being something that we all have been through before, which is what it was in the army, right? Where sometimes I felt like I was half dying and I still wouldn't even get
no MC.
No MC. I remember one time like I had this allergic reaction to like, I don't know, insect bite or something like that where the bite became the size of a continent on my chest, And I couldn't even go home. I couldn't even get. I stayed in the hospital for a night. After that,
at the medical center.
Yeah, medical center. After that, they sent me back to my camp. They wouldn't let me go home and rest or anything.
Yeah, I don't think that's good lah.
It's horrible. It was horrible. It was like, what do I need to do? I spent a night in the hospital already. What do I need to do now to even just have a couple of days of rest,
Yeah. So I totally don't think you should go back there. Because even a few weeks ago when we were talking about the OCBC, right, the people who had these claims that in some way potentially abuse, right? Yeah. I'm all for having a certain inbuilt trust in these kind of things, but also some safeguards and parameters, and sounds like they were already there, but because of the behavior of a errant few, it is resulting in more clampdowns.
Yeah.
Because the reason I said earlier, the doctors, some doctors are likely to be held responsible also, or likely to be responsible, is because you think about if you're running your own clinic, right? This is a damn good service.
Yeah.
It is, in 1 hour, you see a face-to-face patient, how much can you squeeze in 1 hour? Teleconsult, if every call is a few minutes, it's very lucrative. Right? So it feels like, it's not just the patient's fault.
Yeah. But I'm seeing online also some people are saying that we're barking up the wrong tree. It's more about the conditions the employers are setting that make it so difficult for people to even just get a break or something like that. They're overworked, everyone. And what do you think about that? They're saying that the employer is actually partially responsible for this kind of thing.
I think there's certain truth there also. Because, but then it becomes a thing let's say let's say someone does something fucked up or something. It's like, okay, we don't punish him. We find out the root cause of the problem. But then it becomes like, then what is the line, you know?
Yeah.
The one thing that I do agree that feels like if it was just feedback from companies and agencies and the MOH is taking a stance, then one feels like, oh shit, have they done the converse lah?
Of holding
like what you said, like, you know, the conditions of like employers and like whether burnout is being studied or monitored lah.
Yeah, but that's a multi-ministry task force kind of thing.
Right? Exactly lah.
And I say all this because we come from a place where we are also employers, you know, small business, but we've also hired big groups of people for productions and all that. And it's tough lah when someone decides to, you know, like get a long-term MC or something, and then on the first night that they got an MC, they tell you, oh, I'm not going to work for you anymore already.
Which has happened to us.
I completely say this with a smile on my face now, but when it happened, I was like, what? Like, we're all like, you know, hey, go and rest lah, go and, you know, whatever. I hope you're well. The next thing at 9 p.m. you get like a letter saying, hey, I'm quitting, you know. Has happened to us lah, right? And it just makes you feel like, you know, if this person is really sick, would they be crafting a resignation letter at the same time and all that, right?
But then it becomes a thing, right? Like now it's reaching a point where you are questioning whether people are sick or not. Right, because even in that case, and I remember like we were both like super pissed and all, and it makes you think like, wait, is this person really sick?
Yeah.
And now it feels like on a regulatory level, this is becoming a thing from the government's perspective lah.
Yeah.
Which is like not as extreme as army was. Even army now, I don't know how medical centers work.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, whether MCs are a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
But this one, it feels like, because one sentiment I saw a lot online is that the government is meddling too much in our own private affairs lah. What do you think of that?
You mean meddling too much in terms of trying to get in between that relationship between the patient and doctor?
Yeah. And like kind of making it harder for people to just get an MC when maybe they just need a day off as opposed to being like physically sick lah. I
mean, I would like to say that we try to work on trust lah, right, between the employee and employer and all. But every time there are very egregious cases of cheating, like let's say the OCBC, that abuse case, or this clinic that was handing out teleconsults without any video consultation. Yeah, these are the ones that spoil the market lah, right? Yeah. And if anything, those people need to be held accountable for this lah.
Yeah.
And then there will be a period of like balancing to try and find the right thing lah. But I would say that, you know, given Lawrence Wong this is the week that Lawrence Wong ascends to the throne, and given his he's very, very focused on improving the mental health of young people as well, right? I think something has to give at some point where you know, it's maybe like taking an MC for mental health issues, blanket just saying it's a mental health thing, can become a norm right? Where we don't question as much already lah. Whereas now we are on the older end of the spectrum of boomers, millennials. Sorry, not boomers, millennials.
Entering the boomer phase.
Yeah. Not entering lah, but we are considered millennials lah, right?
Yeah,
that's right. So for us, it's always been like a balancing act lah, right? You know, we had that fear of like losing your job, that kind of thing, inbuilt in us from young. But now we're also seeing that this new generation, they work differently lah, right? They need to be handled differently. Over the years, I've also like learned that my style of thinking, the way I think about it also has kind of changed. Like, you can't force people to work for you, work efficiently for you if they don't feel comfortable working with you, right? So it's just maybe it's just like they're trying to catch up now, like MOH and everything. Everyone.
But you think like something that is very trust based as a system on a national level thing can work?
I think it's hard. I mean, it's kind of like the tray return thing, right? The moment they made tray returns mandatory, like you fine people for it, suddenly, Singapore fucking courteous and gracious and everything, right?
Yeah.
And now I think people would want to return the trays.
It's inbuilt.
It's inbuilt already. You just don't feel comfortable just seeing the trays all being left there, right?
And if you don't return, there's almost a bit more like...
Yeah. My wife sometimes even tells me, hey, why you, like, we are eating in a cafe or restaurant, and I feel like, I need to return tray. Then she's like, hey, no, they don't have a tray return area, but it's just like it's become a muscle memory already. So in some ways, maybe this MC thing we need some time for the populace to kind of get used to it, like a honor system kind of, and not abuse the system like how they did. I think teleconsults is has that big loophole, right? Where there are certain ailments that like a teleconsult you can't really judge, right? Whether say like a person's stiff neck or back pain or something like that. You do a teleconsult, it's a bit, you can tell, right?
Yeah. So I mean, like because of course the sentiments online, especially Reddit, there's a lot of like shitting on this thing.
Yeah.
But I think to be fair, right, like some of the proposed amendments is a requirement that every MC issued must include the name and medical registration number of the issuing medical practitioner.
I thought that was a given already.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
It wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, and it isn't right now. So as an amendment like that, I think that's totally fair game.
Yeah, it's fair.
Right, it's totally fair game. And then another one is that the doctor or dentist must have provided medical or dental care to the patient in order to an MC. Must have so it's not say for first time Even that, right, to a certain extent, I think there is some merit there that means it just means you must diversify your doctor and dentist portfolio You go to like a handful, and then anytime you have your go-to person So that kind of stuff, I don't think it's they clamping down until like that. And that's where because I read this article once, then I looked at the comments, I was like, oh shit, actually it's clamping down. But then I reread it and the final print, I was like, hey, no actually there's a like what you said, there's a balance
Yeah. So to that point earlier where this is the someone tipped off a journalist right?
Yeah.
Maybe
the assumption,
maybe there's this they're making a bigger fuss of it than what will actually happen right? Eventually what will be put through. So that's why it's important to understand that this isn't an official MOH officially saying that MCs are done, like mic drop kind of thing. It's basically like they're looking into it and trying to prevent abuse of the system.
And maybe they playing the strategic thing like they know some doctors are like doing annoying shit, but then they still go, so what do you think you can do better? Like Terrence, if you are doing some fucked up shit like to me in the background or something, I'm like, hey Terrence, I'm having this issue. Perhaps you could tell me how I can solve this problem when you are the cause of the problem.
Correct.
It's like, telling them I know what you're doing. I'm giving you a chance to suggest changes. If not, own your ass.
It's the classic power move when you're in a social setting and someone says something insulting to you. And rather than be taken aback by it, you just ask them, oh, sorry, can you just repeat again what you said?
Have you done that before?
I haven't been in that setting yet, but I think that now I look back in life, there are certain settings that I should have probably done.
Same.
Yeah. Can you explain why that's funny?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The moment you say, like, oh shit, so many times that if you just say that, or just like, oh, why do you say that?
Yeah. Oh, so what's exactly saying?
You can even say that with a smile.
Yeah, or just like confused just act blur. Yeah. So that's a power move that I think I can't wait to.
So
try
MOH is doing that to the doctors. So we're having a lot of people getting these MCs unregulated. Why do you think that's the case?
Maybe who knows? Scully, the leak comes from closer to the source than we think, right? But to set a warning to people. So.
But I mean, the circular couldn't find any circular online. Because normally these kind of things, they'll
leak it's leaked to press
leak or something. You think it's a leak?
I mean, Sunday night, who's leaking the shit on who wants to leak the shit on a Sunday night, right?
But I don't think they would have done the leak over the weekend, right? These kind of articles also take
Friday,
time.
Friday probably.
And it's a few CNN and Straits Times wrote about it. So probably they were doing their
multiple leaks.
Their leak tour.
Yeah.
Multiple leaks.
The Era's leak tour.
The Era's leak tour.
Yeah.
So Mothership also wrote about it.
Yeah.
And
but again might be, like I said, it might be the media making the most out of making the best headline out of it, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like people on Reddit, I can imagine a lot of people being pissed off by this. But I don't think at this point, based on what is available, it's that controversial.
Yeah.
I think some sort of regulation is almost, how in the early days of social media on Facebook and all, you could do whatever you wanted. Right? You can say you this photo gets 50,000 likes, free tickets for you, shit. And I used to do that in my social media job.
Yeah.
But then after that there were some restrictions and all.
Yeah. It's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Interesting developments.
But yeah, speaking of balancing acts, right?
Yeah.
There's another industry that I think everyone will come in contact with at some point or another in their lives, that is also trying to find a balance, right, between providing experience for everyone, but also, making sure that people don't get fleeced by resellers and all that. What is this industry we're talking about?
It's the industry of concerts and live shows.
Yeah.
Because apparently for shows like Hamilton, which is ongoing, as well as the upcoming concert by the Icelandic jazz pop singer Laufey. Do you know Laufey?
I think, there's a certain way to pronounce it. It's not, you don't pronounce it. Yeah. I was just listening to some of the stuff for the weekend.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain way to pronounce it. Do you guys know?
Tom, Tristen?
Laufey.
Laufey, yeah.
Laufey sounds like
sure
a,
not.
a friend, like my friend from primary school. Laufey.
Yeah, Laufey. Yeah, that one sounds like, yeah. Hey, Laufey, how are you, man?
Yeah.
But she's due to perform in September here. And the concert goers and fans were surprised to hear that their events would be priced based on demand, i.e. dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
I think a few episodes ago we talked about the potential of dynamically pricing fast food, right?
Yeah.
Which was kind of hinted at an announcement by the Wendy's in Wendy's CEO.
Yeah.
And after that they backtracked.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently it has been going on. Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, just one anecdote that this article started with was that this guy wanted to catch Hamilton. He got 2 tickets for $250 each to a Sunday show. But a few days later, he checked it and he saw that they were being sold for $220.
Yeah.
And I mean, before diving into the weeds, what do you think of dynamic pricing for concerts and shows?
Initially, I was it's kind of pissed off. It was because it's obviously I mean, you can call it profiteering or whatever, right? And it's the same product that you're selling to two different people at different prices, but just based on timing. So it's annoying. But in the larger scheme of how concert tickets have been and how they've sold out and how bots and resellers and scalpers have killed a lot of taken out a lot of the fun of going to concerts, right? Actually, maybe this is not as bad a thing as we think. That's what I feel.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I've come to terms with it in the sense that I think our days of some big concert coming to town, let's get tickets, and then you can get tickets and you just go and have a good time, and it's not through the roof expensive and all that, right? I think those days are over. So now the reality is that if you want to be part of a larger communal experience, you have to be willing to shell out the money for it. And now you're being forced to say even though I'm a Taylor Swift fan, if it's unaffordable, it's unaffordable, and it's not a must-have, must-go kind of thing,
I think it's fucked up.
Why?
Because it just becomes a thing where it's gonna okay, live shows and concerts and all has always felt it's something that brings people together. And it's always good to have it be as accessible as possible. And I think that's always a good thing. But I understand that concerts and shows are still a profit-making business. There needs to be a bottom line. But this dynamic pricing thing, right, feels like it will only cater towards the people who can afford it. Whereas people who maybe they love it so much that they might not have the money, but they're willing to camp out for 20 hours and get the tickets. I feel that it still makes it accessible to them. They have to sacrifice something. But if it's just based on price, I don't think that's good.
But, I mean, you're talking about, you say it's good for everyone to experience it and all that. So, but you're talking about it like it's an essential good at it. But actually, isn't it just a luxury item that only it's a first world thing, right?
No, concerts happen in third world also.
Correct. So if you want to go and see a concert, go to the local music bar or something and support a local musician who's also playing a lot of the covers of their music. And you go there, you support them, you buy a drink there, you support the local economy, as opposed to give money to that one guy who already doesn't need the money,
But how does that, there's always a difference between watching the person live, as opposed to listening to a cover.
Yeah. So I'm just saying it's demand supply. It's a demand supply issue lah. Like there's a lot of demand for Coldplay, but there's not enough supply lah.
Yeah.
So you can't afford it. Then you go and look for cheaper alternatives for other kinds of music that you can access and afford.
So
right?
that exactly is what I don't like, that you can't access it only because of the cost.
Correct lah. But I mean, it's demand supply. Right? It's like, even if it's not cost, it's also like, there's only 60,000 like seats in the stadium. If you're not one of the 60,000, then that's it lah, right?
Yeah lah, but isn't it sad? Because the demand supply in concerts and live shows is already there.
Yeah.
There is a limited supply. And if there is demand, the overall price will go up, which is why a ticket to Taylor Swift is going to be a lot more expensive than a ticket to someone who is not as established.
Yeah.
But I think having it be consistent and not be dynamic, right, is part of the appeal of these kind of live shows and concerts. And I think that is one of the things that make it great. Like, if you want to save up and all, you do that. If you want to have to do other things like queue up and all, there are ways to get it. Like, then you trade off your time versus the thing. Because if this is just dynamic pricing, then that feels like it's like, the feeling with Singapore now, only catering towards the rich.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's healthy, especially for concerts and shows.
But they are luxury item, essentially.
Yeah.
Going to a concert, right?
Yeah.
So, it'd be nice for everyone to own a Birkin bag, but is it necessary for everyone to own a Birkin bag? Like, do we have to make sure that everybody is able to afford a Birkin bag?
Then it becomes a thing, right? What is the cost of living in Singapore? Like, just the material needs. I mean, the basic needs versus these sort of things. And I think it's arguable that entertainment and these sort of things are crucial for society. And you can argue that it's even good for well-being.
Yeah, then I will argue that there's a lot of other entertainment options.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be go and watch this one particular concert? Because I think it's not a uniquely Singapore thing, right? Like, dynamic pricing, everyone's raging about it around the world.
Raging in a bad way.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing for you is actually the psychology of thinking that, I like this musician, so his music needs to be accessible to me. But I'm just saying that maybe that's the way, that maybe we need to reframe how we approach this already. It's no longer like that just because I like a musician means I have a right to a low price ticket to go and watch him.
So a few assumptions you made there. Like when you say accessible, it doesn't mean it means it's cheap.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't say low price tickets.
Okay.
You still pay a premium.
Yeah.
So I don't expect Taylor Swift tickets to come down to $50.
Yeah.
It'll still be a premium. If it's $500, it's $500.
Yeah.
But at least it's capped there. If it's dynamic pricing, especially with, let's say Singapore becomes a hub and you're going to get a lot of people from around the region flying in to watch this, then there's going to be so much demand. And you know what happens when there's dynamic pricing with that much demand?
Yeah.
It would just go up like crazy.
Yeah.
So yes, the people who afford it can access it, but people who previously could afford it, even if they're putting aside savings and all, if it goes up like crazy, then they can't access it. And I think that's very sad. Because if it's just solely based on how much you are willing to pay for this seat, I don't think that's good.
So then, then that's where people will be forced to look at other options for entertainment for themselves.
Yeah, but isn't it sad that just based on like your ability to pay these ridiculous amounts, that you are having to find these alternative options for music and entertainment? And again, I'm not saying the tickets need to be cheap.
Yeah.
It might already be out of people's budget.
Yeah.
But if you are telling them that, okay, this one, based on demand, it will increase. We don't know how much it will increase. You try your luck. So I think that's sad. And I don't think that's a good direction to go for entertainment, especially if Singapore is becoming a hub.
No, but I still don't see why it's a bad thing that if you can't afford it, then don't watch it. Why is
but
that
that's already true now. That's already true now.
Yeah.
If you can't afford it, you don't go for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But adding this extra thing where it is dynamically priced, I think it is a lot of upside for the promoters and the concert producers.
Yeah.
But the only people who suffer the downsides are like the fans at every level.
Then I think also then it's the artists themselves also having to take a stand about it. Right? Do they want the music to reach even the fans who can't afford the tickets? And they have to be the ones to tell the promoter or organizer that you can't, like what you say, put a cap. You can put a cap on the ticket prices, and it's up to the artist to tell the organizer, hey, you can do dynamic pricing up to a certain point, right? But I still think that it's not necessarily a bad thing that we let demand and supply run its course for this thing. And if people really want to watch it, then they have to cough out the money. And then if it puts it out of the reach of some others who can't afford this crazy dynamic price thing, then they look to other options to find entertainment.
And you don't feel like that is a bit of a sad direction?
So that's where I that's the point I was making earlier, the psychology of it. I don't think that we can see music from one particular artist as an essential good anymore that everyone should have a right to enjoy. I feel like it's almost become like a luxury thing. Sad, yeah. I mean, it's just the reality of the capitalist system that we're in now. And but the thing is, I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that game, where have to go to a stadium and then to go to a stadium and be part of this big group of people and suffer through all the whole thing of going in and out of a very crowded area, and then the sound system isn't great, all that. I don't want to have to deal with that anymore. So for me, it's like now, like for example, now I generally look for performances or concerts from up and coming artists in smaller venues. I wouldn't naturally gravitate towards like the big stars concerts coming out there. And that's I've adjusted my expectations for these things, and it's allowed me to also discover a lot of new music that I probably wouldn't have done so before, and I'm kind of glad that it was that way.
But so maybe that's your preference and that's your ability to separate and differentiate. But I wouldn't also say someone who wants to go and like they can't afford it, I'm like, okay, then you just find something else. I don't think it's that simple, because there's a lot of emotional attachment to your favorite artist. And you can argue that's a luxury, but I also feel like if everything works on dynamic pricing, so you're saying just the essential goods, no dynamic pricing. There's like artificial regulation, but anything else that is a luxury, let the demand and supply take charge.
I think because it's like, even if you don't have something like this, right, dynamic pricing, the scalpers are out there, like they're doing the dynamic pricing model for you already, and they're doing it and some are even scamming people at the same time. Isn't that even worse?
That should be the thing that's addressed by regulation, not penalizing the customer. If the systems can't deal with the bots and scammers, then that's a problem they need to fix. Whereas this one, I feel if the main goal for this is to reduce the bots and scammers, then it's penalizing the fans very directly.
I mean, either way, like it's just trying to set up some kind of system to combat the idea of like.
But is that the reason for scalpers and bots?
I mean, on paper, that's what they say. Obviously, they also want to make. Probably there's a lot of money being left on the table in the resellers market, right? That they're trying to claw back as well. But if it makes it, there's someone like rather than buy from a scalper, they buy from an official source. At least there's a less chance of getting scammed and everything. That's a win also, right? That they don't end up like being scammed.
But many things need to happen for that customer to end up with a ticket the way you suggested, and I feel that is a big.
Sorry, what do we end up with?
So for them to pay the premium to the actual official people than the scalper, I think that's a big extrapolation of dynamic pricing and how it will affect people buying or not buying from scalpers.
Sorry, I don't understand. Because what you're saying is, it's easier to just buy from the website rather than like potentially get scammed by a scammer.
So the potential thing, I think that is a big extrapolation, because if they buy from the website, who knows whether scalping might not happen here. Scalping can still happen. People buy it dynamically priced, and then they artificially inflate. So this is it's not clear also how it's going to get rid of scalping.
But I mean, scalping and scammers, it happens. It happens. The Taylor Swift thing, it was a lot of cases of it, right? And it was a real problem, right? A lot of people stuck outside the concert without their tickets, all that. And this one, at least, it's like, it kind of puts it where, if you're going to like take the risk to go and pay so much money to go and buy a thing, why don't you just buy from the official one itself, right? Then have to go and deal with scalpers and scammers. And also, it weeds out. In fact, that thing about what you said about people queuing up 20 hours and all that, I mean, a lot of that also are people who are paid to go and do that as well, right? There's this secondary industry of people being queuing up and everything to pay for these things. I also don't think there's a very good thing to encourage.
So then that
right?
should needs to be fixed, right? That process is not perfect.
Which is what this is trying to do also.
But there's no clear way like how it would reduce scalping, because people can still buy it, and then they can still scalp people.
But it's just more expensive. It's more expensive. So there's less likelihood that the demand for it will be less in the sense that people won't buy, say, $1,000 ticket.
I mean, you never know. It just feels like if this is the solution to scalping and bots, it feels like it's not targeting it directly. Like scalpers and bots, they buy it from a web platform, right? You have all the toughest security for so many services online. But for concert tickets, there's still no security aspect. So if they want to protect against scalpers and bots, feels like that is the kind of things they should target. Because we have spoken about before about how F1 right now in Singapore, it feels like a very exclusive thing, right? And if concerts and shows in Singapore start to go down that path, right, I think that's very unfortunate.
Then you just don't go for F1, which is what you've been doing for many years already, right? We just don't bother, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying like there are still concerts and all out there. Which already applies to the supply and demand already is enforced there to a certain extent. All the way up till the price of the tickets on the day you purchase. So to me, like adding dynamic pricing, what is the reason to add that? It is to squeeze out more revenue and profit. So I also agree that it is a stance that it's up to the performer as well. And I think you should take it in totality. If your favorite performer chooses to do this, it reflects on them also.
Exactly, So I don't agree that the losers are only the people, the fans. I believe that if the artist feels that this is the way that they want to go, and they end up losing a base of fans because of that, then that's also the trade-off that they choose. So to me, it's like it also helps the fans also. It tells you what the artist prioritizes also. Should you choose to support this person anymore?
The one is like, you have to evaluate. I mean, it does affect that, but like my main thing is the reason to have this dynamic pricing. What is the cause of it? If it's just to squeeze out more profits, then of course, yes, we live in a capitalist society. All this is for profit things.
Luxury experiences.
But I just feel like it's the direction that I'm sad that it's going.
Okay lah. I mean, I also feel it's sad in some ways that kids can't get, to watch certain things. But I think that's just the reality of what their consumption habits have led to also lah, And then everyone wants to go for all these same things so that they can partake in the Instagram frenzy and everything. The number of videos that were of the Coldplay concert during those 6 days was like, it was almost more than the PMD videos over the weekend, right? It's just what they are, and this is what the industry has. I mean, the artists and all that have also allowed, right? They're not protesting this dynamic pricing thing. So in some ways, if you want to, you can vote with your wallet and choose not to support this.
So it means for you think the ability should be there, and you have no issues with the feature or the offering on the platform for dynamic pricing.
At first I thought I'd be pissed off and everything, but then the more I thought about it, it's like this is just what the artists have also chosen as for themselves, and if they're not like making noise about it or trying to put a cap on it and all, it tells you something about how they think of their fan base, and then should you be supporting artists like that? No, I don't think so. Then you choose. Then I think you try and find other ways to get your fix. I really maybe it just really stems from I really don't see having to see your artist live
maybe
anymore.
Because you have had like the enlightenment
I've had the fortune and the privilege of like when last time I wanted to watch a lot of my favorite bands and all that, I got to watch
exactly. So you've already maybe scratched your itch, and you've reached a point where going to these concerts is a pain in the ass.
Correct.
I've also scratched that itch. But that's why like for people who maybe haven't experienced it before, this one feels like you have got concert privilege
But then at the same time, we can't speak on behalf of them because this is how they've just grown up as. This is the economy that they've grown up in, right? They've never experienced that time that we had, when you wanted to go and watch a concert. Just go and buy. Don't need a queue, don't need anything. Just buy, You can. It's very easy to get, right? And they have no memory of that, and they won't be looking at it like, oh wow, back in the good old days, that kind of thing. For them, it's like, the reality is it's expensive. It's out of my reach. and I should not expect to have to be able to see it just because I want to.
So that means the future in Singapore where you get like F1 and all these concerts that is just for the people that can afford it, it won't make you sad, Terence.
I mean, it pulls tourist money in, but if it doesn't caught me as a viewer or something, then I won't bother with it also.
But you be totally like, okay lah, these are like catering to certain demographics, and there's that whole communal, like the feeling that F1 has now. Sure, you don't go to it, but you be okay with like concerts and all having that feel also.
Yeah, I think that's what concerts have become for me already. It's like these luxury events, right? They are quite a hassle to get in and out of, and a headache to coordinate and everything, right? And then after that also the experience itself. So I still go to concerts.
Yeah.
But I'm selective. I choose very smaller venues.
Yeah.
I choose artists that aren't like trying to sell out stadiums and
because
things
you're
like
also not looking for the bigger venues.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct,
so but there are people out there who are looking for the bigger venues.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I feel like if this is the trend that is going, especially if Singapore wants to be an entertainment hub, right?
Yeah.
If everything is dynamically priced, I would hate that.
Okay.
I would hate that. And I think it's just then it becomes like a very, very, it makes the whole thing very transactional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where maybe the difference, like with like the Wendy's thing, because that one to me is like it's food, right? Someone's lunch and everything. That one I feel I get a bit more pissed off by.
Then what do you think about the comparison of this to airlines as well? Because some people brought it up in the comments. This is just like airline pricing. Airline is also a luxury to a certain extent.
It's just by timing also.
Yeah, but to me, airline is different because, like, first of all, there are many options to get the same outcome.
Yeah.
Right, going from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And there are many days of the year that you can travel, and on each day there might be multiple times.
Yeah.
Whereas for concerts and shows, it's different, so I don't think that comparison is the same also.
But also, if you're just traveling for leisure, not for work, right? For leisure, then you also choose not to go to that country, and spend your tourist money there,
Yeah.
And that's probably a better way to voice your displeasure.
Yeah,
right?
But there are also new companies that can come up with revolutionary business models to really bring down the cost, like Ryanair.
Yeah.
You can't get like a cheapo version of Taylor Swift, unless you say cover.
Go for the alternatives.
No, but the thing is, for planes, the point is to get to point A to point B.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But for a performer, it's not that straightforward. You can go to a concert. You can argue that is the same process you go to, but it's totally different things. So that's why I think when people are comparing it to airlines also, the airline function is very different from entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one dynamic pricing, I think, it makes more sense there. Whereas for concerts and live shows, I think it's different.
But that's why, again, I just say then you don't want to fly to that destination, then look for another destination. You have a budget for flights. Find another destination.
But even if you wanted to go to the same destination, you have many more options to choose.
Okay.
Different days, different timings.
But it will still cost, it will still cost money, right?
Yeah.
You have options, but not necessarily they'll all be cheaper. There will 100% be cheaper options and all that, right? Not 100% necessarily. Like let's say you want to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Like the cheapest anyone can find flights, $400, $500, right? It's not guaranteed that you will be able to get that ticket even if it's available at some point or something, right? So if you have a budget, you stick to it, and then you may choose a different destination or whatnot. That's what I'm saying about music artists. I don't think they should be heralded like it's like you're going to Mecca or anything like that, where there's only one artist that you must see that will.
No, this could be applicable to any artist. I'm just saying if it's a standard that dynamic pricing is used for live shows and entertainment, I would hate that. Okay, if it's up to the artist, if the functionality is there, they want to turn it on, turn it off, that's fine. But if it's becomes the norm, right, I would hate that.
Okay, you hate that, but I'm just saying that the analogy doesn't mean that analogy is bad, right? The one between flights and concerts.
The flight thing, again, you have multiple providers providing the same essence value proposition. The point to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Whereas for concert, you can have many people hold different concerts, but every concert is different. Yeah. So to me, that's why for airlines, if your goal is to get from point A to point B, you got so many options. You still get the end result. You get to point B.
Yeah.
But a concert, you go there to listen to a specific song sung by the artist. So that's why I think the comparison, certain parts are true, but I also don't feel it's the most accurate to just say because it works for airlines, it should work for concerts.
But it's a luxury good to me, like going to concerts. So that's why to me it's still valid, that in the sense that if that destination doesn't work for you, choose another destination, And then the end of the day is like it's demand and supply. I don't think I don't think it's that difficult to find another entertainment option with the same money that you have that wouldn't give you like even a fraction of that same level of enjoyment, Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think this is interesting. I think that's why, remember when I was talking about the candlelight concerts and all that. I think that's an interesting option, right? If you couldn't go to, say, Bruno Mars, then they had a session where you just like artists played, musicians played Bruno Mars, and you just heard it in a nice environment, all that. So it's kind of like you get you get to listen to the music that you like, everything in a kind of still special experience that just doesn't have the person there singing, right? The guy turning up for 10 minutes and singing a song, right? And maybe that's the kind of thing that there's room for experimentation, right? I think where what you're saying about like that one experience of going to that one concert is the be all and all. Maybe what needs to happen is that there are multiple kind of like offshoot experiences that people can pay less money for, that is still part of it, the Cat 1000s and everything, right? Yeah. And rather than like be too fixated or too sad about like not being able to go for the main concert.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying the sadness comes from the main concert. It's just the fact if dynamic pricing is the norm.
Yeah.
I just don't like that direction, because it feels like it's gonna make everything just transactional.
Okay.
And very profit driven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't convince you, because I think at the end of the day,
I can't convince you also,
just don't like.
I
think I'm interested to see how it affects the scalping side of things.
Yeah.
I think that one, to me, I hate it. I hate the scalpers and bots on that, because it ruined. For example, like I used to be quite interested in sneakers, but I think my interest completely died because of the whole scalping. Yeah. It was and it was just, there was a possibility, I like this pair of shoes, I can, wait when it drops and then I can get a pair. Possible, like maybe 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like I don't even bother, because it's like I know that it's gonna be out within a minute.
And then the annoying thing was all the people who come up with these bots were being held up as heroes.
Or entrepreneurs and shit.
Entrepreneurs.
So that was annoying. So to me, it was like, okay, but if I really want a shoe and if I can pay for a little bit more for it, I'd rather be paying the source directly than paying the scalpers. And that was what was going through my mind back then,
Yeah.
And
I mean, for all we know, this, like what you said, this might be the future of concerts. And I might just be a nostalgic person just holding on to the past.
A boomer, a young boomer.
Yeah. But I will continue. I will just, as our guest, Jamus, and some other people have said, if there's something, why compare to what is, why not strive for more, Terence?
Strive for more, meaning open up your mind beyond the few artists that you want to see in your life, and open up your visage.
And also find other ways of combating against bots and scammers instead of what has been done before and what is the right thing to do. Open up to other solutions.
Because the artists don't care about you; they just want your money. That's all.
You've been very hurt by one or two artists, is it?
No, I've been sad that I've missed concerts and all that.
Yeah.
But I come to realize, like, if they don't want to make it available to everyone,
it is their choice. It is their choice. Also,
They made a choice, and I'm going to make my choice also.
And I remember Louis C.K. before he got cancelled, like a big thing for him that he would never price his comedy shows above $20 per ticket. And that one is respectable, because he's it. Yeah.
Coldplay also, right? They made some like cheaper tickets or something.
I mean, but apparently in this article it says Coldplay was dynamically priced. They just have like 50 or 100 tickets that they give for very low value.
Yeah.
I mean, there's at least
it's possible to access.
Yeah, it's possible to access. So it's the accessibility thing that sticks out to me.
Yeah. So for me, I am willing to have my mind changed if someone can come, if someone shows that this dynamic pricing model is worse than scalpers and all. I'm interested to see, because I thought the scamming and scalping was really bad during the Taylor Swift concerts and all.
The
stories of it were all pretty horrible. Yeah.
But did you see anything in this or the articles you read that mentioned that this is a way to combat scalping?
I think I was reading up about it, where some
the reason for dynamic pricing.
The reason for dynamic pricing. Obviously, Sounds like a lot of corporate BS also, right? But the truth is that scalping and bots and all that have plagued us for the last 10 years. We've still not found any good solution to it. It's killed a lot of people's interest in certain things like myself, And but I just come to the realization that this if you want to play that game, this is what it's going to be, and I choose not to play that game, and I walk away from it. Yeah.
Oh, you walk away from it.
Vote with your feet.
Vote with your feet. I just feel like the scalping thing, if it's really... I mean, we see this so many times, right, when problems are happening with companies or platforms or services. It's always, we can't, until shit hits the fan and they need to find a solution, and they find.
Yeah.
So it's just not an urgent enough thing.
Yeah, it's not.
But yeah, man.
But yeah. That speaking of something a bit more
lighthearted
because I think everyone's irritated that they can't take MC to go and watch their favorite concerts anymore because the concert's too expensive.
Yeah.
What is your one Shiok comment?
Wait, let me pull it up.
Then I'll go first.
Yeah.
I got mine. So on that trend of like people commenting on the actual Spotify episode itself. In our last episode, Ayu Adams commented, "Love this podcast. So local, so relevant, and so talk. I listen to you guys on my surround system during my evening beauty routine after a long day. So therapeutic. LOL. Keep going." So yeah, very nice message. I'm assuming it's a woman because it's a beauty routine.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, good to know that we, people don't. They can wear their masks and put the avocado in their face even while listening to us.
Yeah. So one comment, my one Shiok comment is on YouTube by someone who we mentioned a few times already, Marty-GV4NV. Do you see that comment?
Yeah, I think I did.
So I mean, it's quite long, but it's quite funny. Hey, fellow Yalla Butters. I say the one Shiok Thing comment got me thinking. I feel as personalities, Harish and Terence are very different people. Harish does not conform to social norms like calling pineapple tarts as jam tarts, omelette as omelette.
Yeah.
Terence takes a more practical approach. Take this episode, for example. Harish uses a huge laptop while Terence has a small phone for references. Even their choice of beverage is different. Harish is drinking a posh canned drink while Terence is drinking a chocolate-flavoured malt drink.
Yeah.
But jokes aside, I think the coming together or something clashing of their personalities is what makes the show thought-provoking yet entertaining. And they also defended your bullying. I think their over-familiarity with each other and sudden digs at each other may come off as bullying, but just natural banter between good friends.
Yeah.
So I thought it was quite funny. Especially the thing about the posh drink. I think, but little do they know that the person who orders the posh drink is yourself.
What posh drink do I order?
The Perrier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's our office. We have it in our office.
We have in our office.
It's primarily for guests, but Harish loves to just take it for himself.
Is it? Yeah. So you don't drink it at all?
I drink a lot more Milo.
Of course.
Chocolate drinks, as
of
mentioned.
Course, Terence. Of course. But that was funny. So that was my one Shiok comment.
Cool.
What about your one Shiok thing, man?
To rub it in the face of people who can't get to watch their favorite artists live and all. I saw a video where Lana Del Rey performed recently at Coachella 2024. And this one's quite interesting. She had a special guest come on to sing video games with her, and it was Billie Eilish. And Lana Del Rey on stage together. And it's my one Shiok thing because I mean, they're both iconic singers who sing very sad songs for their generation. Lana Del Rey, I think, was our generation, right, in the last decade. Billie Eilish is 22 years old, still only 22.
Shit.
She's like basically for Gen Zs, right? But it's funny because they're both sitting on stage, and Lana Del Rey, she's dressed like someone that conventionally during our era we would say, oh, she's so hot, that kind of thing. She's dressed in a dress and everything, And Billie Eilish is dressed like how she normally dresses, which looks like uncle's pajamas, kind of thing. And so the two of them sitting on stage singing together. When I watched it, I was like, oh, it looks like a mum with a child sitting together singing together.
Was that at Coachella? No, right?
It was at Coachella.
Oh, because and why did she get some flack because of that?
At Coachella?
Yeah, I
don't
remember
know,
reading
actually.
about Lana Del Rey getting flagged for the performance with Billie Eilish.
Oh, I don't know. But it was just, I mean, it was a good performance together. But it's just funny just seeing these two generational icons, like one looking like mum, the other one looking like the child, sitting there and singing together. So it's really got over 2 million views from 2 weeks ago, and it's quite a watch, yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah, really like mum and daughter singing.
Yeah,
together.
I remember seeing clips about that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm.
My one Shiok thing is this thing that has gone viral recently about this Uniqlo bag that is apparently like I think it is the cheapest bag on some atas list for trendy items or something, cheapest item ever. Have you seen that Uniqlo banana bag or
I
something?
think so, yeah, I have. Yeah.
And I just find it funny that it is now becoming like a fashion symbol, and apparently it's like worth $20 lah. So let me see, what was that list that it appeared on. But yeah, I don't know anyone personally who has it, but I just thought it's nice to see that kind of thing come up and actually make the news, and it's something that's $20 lah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, with the, sometimes you see all the fashion handbags and things that are called trendy.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, why the hell is this trendy or not? I just thought this is a refreshing change lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people using it. Yeah.
Oh, you see a lot of people using it.
Yeah. Quite. It's out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was a interesting, a refreshing thing for the fashion industry, like, and what's trendy. But yeah, man. Cool, man.
Yeah. So everyone will be watching on Wednesday. Everyone will be watching Lawrence Wong take the throne. You'll be watching also?
Yeah, I'll be watching. Oh, and actually, we'll be on radio later today. But by the time this podcast will be out, you would have heard. We're going to be on Kiss 92.
Yeah.
Kiss 92
Monday,
with
late.
Joshua Simon.
Yeah, late after.
I don't know whether there'll be a recording or not. We'll post some photos and behind the scenes.
Yep.
So yeah, you can check out our Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe even TikTok.
Cool.
All right. So remember, follow us, tell at least one other person about us that may not have heard about us. And if you want to work with us, reach out at ministryofunny.com.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.